need you to listen carefully, because if I just say this plainly, it's going to sound insane. My friend died 3 days ago. I saw his body. I stood there at the hospital while they covered his face. I watched his mother collapse into a chair. I even touched his hand. It was cold, stiff, wrong. So explain this to me. Why did he call me last night? Not a prank, not a glitch. He said my name the same way he always did. Calm, casual, like nothing ever happened. And the worst part, he knew something he shouldn't have known, something about me, something I never told anyone. His name was Daniel. We weren't just friends, we grew up together. Same street, same school, same stupid childhood memories that stick with you whether you like it or not. Daniel was the kind of person who didn't scare easily. While everyone else avoided dark alleys or creepy houses, he was the one saying, "Relax, it's nothing." He didn't believe in ghosts, didn't believe in anything supernatural, and honestly, neither did I, until now. 3 days ago, Daniel died in a car accident, late at night. Rain, bad visibility. You know how those stories go. They said he lost control and hit a barrier. Instant, no suffering. At least that's what they told us. But something about it felt off even before everything that came after. The last time I spoke to Daniel was the night before he died. And I keep replaying that conversation in my head, trying to figure out what I missed. He called me around 11 p.m. At first, everything sounded normal, but then there were these pauses, long ones, like he was listening to something or someone. "Bro," I said, "you there?" And he goes, Yeah, I'm here." But his voice had changed, not dramatically, just enough that if you knew him, you'd notice, like he was distracted or afraid, which didn't make sense. Daniel wasn't afraid of anything. I asked him what was going on. He laughed it off, said he was just tired. But right before we hung up, he said something that didn't make sense at the time. Do you ever feel like something's been watching us longer than we've been alive? I remember laughing. Told him he'd been watching too many horror movies. He didn't laugh back, just said quietly, "Yeah, maybe." That was the last thing he ever said to me. At least, that's what I thought. The funeral was quiet. Too quiet. You'd expect crying, whispers, people sharing stories. But it felt muted. Like everyone was holding something back. Daniel's mother kept staring at the coffin like she was waiting for it to open. And I know how that sounds, but I swear, she wasn't grieving the way people usually do. She looked confused, like something didn't add up. At one point, I overheard her talking to one of the hospital staff. She kept asking the same question over and over. "Are you sure it was him?" And they kept saying yes. Of course it was him, but she didn't look convinced. Neither did I, if I'm being honest. There was just something about the way everything happened, too fast, too clean, like the story had already been written before we even got there. The first night after the funeral, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was grieving, not really. It was that feeling, like something was off, like I had forgotten something important, but couldn't figure out what it was. Around 2:13 a.m., I remember the time exactly. My phone buzzed, unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. so I did. Hello? Nothing, just static, faint, breathing, slow, uneven. I pulled the phone away, checked the number again. Still unknown. Who is this? I asked, and then the line went dead. I told myself it was nothing. Spam call, bad signal, random glitch. That's what normal people would think, and that's what I tried to believe. Until the next night. The second night, I turned my phone off. I didn't want to deal with that again. Didn't want to hear that breathing. Didn't want to feel that presence. But around the same time, 2:13 a.m., something woke me up. Not a sound, not a noise, just that feeling. You know the one, when your body wakes up before your mind does, like it knows something's wrong. I sat up, room completely dark, silent. Then, a vibration, not from my phone, from my desk. I turned on the light, and my phone was on, screen glowing, even though I remembered turning it off. There was one notification, a missed call, same unknown number, and underneath it, a voicemail. I stared at it for a long time before pressing play. At first, it was just static again. Then, a voice, distorted, broken, like it was being dragged through something. You, hear, me. I froze, because even through the distortion, I recognized it. It was Daniel. I replayed the voicemail over and over, trying to convince myself I was wrong, trying to hear anything else, but it didn't change. Same broken voice, same words. You, hear, me. That's all it said. But the way it said it wasn't just a question. It sounded desperate. Like he was trying to reach me from somewhere he shouldn't be. I checked the number again. Still unknown. No caller ID, no location, nothing. That's when I started to feel it. Not fear, not yet. Something worse. Recognition. Because suddenly, that last conversation we had, it didn't feel random anymore. What if something's been watching us? What if he wasn't joking? What if he already knew? And what if whatever happened to him wasn't an accident? By the third night, I didn't even try to sleep. I sat there, waiting, phone in my hand, lights on, every part of me telling me something was about to happen, and right on time. 2:13 a.m. The phone rang. This time, I didn't hesitate. I answered immediately. Daniel. Silence. Then, breathing again. Closer this time. Clearer. And then he said it. Not broken. Not distorted. Perfectly clear. My body isn't where they think it is. I couldn't speak. Couldn't even breathe. And before I could respond, he added something else, something that still makes my hands shake thinking about it. They buried something else. My body isn't where they think it is. They buried something else. I stayed completely still, phone pressed to my ear, like moving even an inch would break whatever fragile connection was happening. Daniel, I said carefully, that's not possible. You saw what they wanted you to see. His voice cut through mine, flat, certain, no hesitation. And that's what made it worse, because Daniel was never dramatic, never vague. If he said something like this, he believed it, or something believed it through him. What do you mean? I asked. Silence. Then a faint sound in the background, not static this time, movement, like something scraping slowly across a surface. I don't have much time, he said. It's not stable. What isn't? A pause. Then, where I am, I forced myself to stay calm. Okay, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Then tell me where you are. I don't know. That answer came too quickly, like he had already tried to figure it out and failed. I can hear things, he continued, but they don't sound right. It's like everything's underwater, or far away, or behind something. The scraping sound got louder, slow, deliberate. Daniel, listen to me, I said. If this is some kind of joke, you still have the box. My stomach dropped. I didn't say anything, couldn't, because no one knew about that. No one. I told you not to keep it, he said quietly. My hand tightened around the phone. How do you know about that? Another pause. But this one felt different. Heavy, like something else was there now. Not speaking, just present. I didn't, he said. And then, I do now. I didn't touch the box for years, not after what happened. We found it when we were kids, maybe 12 or 13, back when we still thought breaking into abandoned places was fun instead of stupid. There was an old house at the end of our street. No one lived there. Windows broken, doors barely hanging on. We went inside one afternoon, just exploring, laughing, acting like nothing could touch us. That's when Daniel found it. A small wooden box. Plain, no markings, no lock. Just sitting in the corner of a room that was otherwise completely empty. Which didn't make sense. If someone had cleared out the house, why leave that? Open it, I told him. He hesitated, just for a second. Then he did. Inside, nothing. Just darkness. Not empty. Not really. Because when I looked into it, I had this overwhelming feeling that something was looking back. I stepped away immediately, told him to close it, but he didn't. He kept staring. Too long. Daniel, I said, close it. Slowly, he did. And when he looked at me again, something about his expression had changed. Not dramatically, just enough that I noticed. We shouldn't have opened that, he said. That was the only time I ever heard fear in his voice. We left right after, didn't talk about it again, except once, a few days later. He told me to get rid of it, said keeping it felt wrong. I told him he was overthinking it, that it was just an old box. So I kept it, and eventually, I forgot about it. Until now. You still have it, Daniel repeated. It wasn't a question. No one knows about that, I said. We never told anyone. I know. Then how? I told you, he said. I didn't. The scraping sound stopped, and the silence that followed was worse. Because now, there was breathing, not just his, something else, slower, heavier, right next to him. Daniel, I whispered. What's with you? A long pause. Then, very quietly, it found me. Every nerve in my body went cold. What found you? He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice wasn't the same. Still him, but stretched, like something was pressing against it from the inside. The thing in the box. No, I said immediately. That's not real. That doesn't. You opened it. The words came out sharper this time, accusing. You looked inside. I didn't do anything, I snapped. We were kids. It doesn't matter. His breathing got uneven, not like before. Worse, like something was interfering with it. It doesn't forget, he continued. It doesn't lose track. The line crackled. For a second, I thought the call had dropped. Then, another voice, not separate, not fully, layered over his, saying the same words, a fraction of a second behind him. It doesn't lose track. I pulled the phone away instinctively, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it was shaking my entire chest. Daniel, what is happening to you? No answer. Just that breathing again. Closer now, too close, like whatever was there was right against him. When he spoke again, it was rushed, panicked, like he was fighting for control. Listen to me, he said. You need to get rid of it, now. I don't even know where it is, I said. Find it. I haven't seen it in years. Find it, his voice cracked, and for a split second, it was just him again, clear, terrified. Please, he said. It's the only way it stops. What stops? Another pause. Then, it doesn't want both of us. Silence. My stomach twisted. What does that mean? And then he said something I will never forget. It followed me first. Everything started to line up. Too perfectly. The accident, the strange behavior the night before, the way he kept pausing, like he wasn't alone. You're saying, I began slowly, that thing, whatever it is, caused the crash. No, the answer came instantly, and somehow, that made it worse. I tried to get away from it, he said. I thought if I went far enough, fast enough. His voice faltered, but it was already there. The air in my room felt heavy, hard to breathe. What do you mean, already there? A long silence, then. It was in the car with me. The line started breaking up, not like before. This felt violent, unstable, like something was tearing through the connection. Daniel, I shouted, where are you? I'll come find you. You can't, he said quickly. That's the point. What point? That I'm not supposed to be talking to you. The second voice came back, stronger now, closer to matching him. We're not supposed to be talking to you. I felt something shift in the room, not physically, but enough that I noticed, like the space around me had tightened. Daniel, I said slowly, but deep down, I already knew. Whatever I was talking to wasn't just him anymore. You waited too long, both voices said. And then the call ended. No signal, no voicemail, no call history, nothing. Like it never happened, except my hands were shaking. And I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone anymore. I turned slowly toward my closet, because suddenly I remembered exactly where the box was. I hadn't forgotten it. Not really. I had buried it, pushed it so far out of my mind that it stopped existing. But now, every detail was clear. The box was still in my house, still closed, still waiting. And if what Daniel said was true, it hadn't been dormant. It had been patient. I stood there for a long time, just staring at the closet door, trying to convince myself not to open it, because some part of me already knew. The moment I touched that box again, there would be no going back. Then a sound, soft, faint, from inside the closet. A scrape, slow, deliberate, exactly like the one I heard on the phone. My chest tightened, and then something hit me all at once. Daniel didn't sound like he was calling from somewhere else anymore. He sounded close. I took a step back, then another, because the realization came too fast to process. If it followed him first, and now it was here, then that means it didn't stay with him. The closet door creaked slightly, on its own, just enough to open a fraction. Darkness inside, thick, heavy, watching. And then, from somewhere inside, a voice, quiet, familiar. "You hear me?"